The other day I mentioned that I use NotebookLM all the time. Let me show you a couple of quick examples. First, to get there, just type NotebookLM and then try NotebookLM. You need to sign in with a Google account, and then you can create a new notebook. Now, what I am going to show you a couple examples of is this video that Chris did just recently. Awesome 27-minute video. But maybe I just want to get a summary of what all was talked about. Or I ask a bunch of questions about this 27-minute video, or I don't have time to watch all 27 minutes. So go into NotebookLM, put that as a resource. This uses the transcript from that YouTube video, and I am able to do a bunch of things with it. Now, I'm just using a single source in this example, but you can add up to 50 different sources. You could put in PDF files that you have. You can put in Google Docs. You can put in websites, YouTube videos, you name it. It goes in here. So I've already done a few things. Let me switch screens and show you some of these examples. So one of the really cool things about NotebookLM is it allows you to ask questions in chat format about the source material. So this is just this one video, but I can still say, what are the main points in this video? And it goes through, it doesn't use any other places on the internet, but just talks about what the content is from this transcript. So it tells me this room was purpose-built for reviewing, talks about this lab-grade aesthetic rather than a traditional decorative home theater, and then it puts the citation about exactly where this was in the source. Now, that's pretty cool. Let me show you some other very interesting things. I just clicked on this data table feature, which was just released a couple of days ago. And what it does is it took, without a single prompt, it basically just says, okay, here's all the data, all the equipment that's in Chris's room. Here's the video, brand, the model, why. Let me actually export this to Sheets, which is a very cool feature. And I can see the quantity, key features and performance notes. Very cool. And this actually very accurate. So when NotebookLM was first released, the killer feature was this audio overview, and they've expanded it since then. But the feature is this deep dive. You can ask for short, regular, medium, or long. You can ask for a specific part of a specific topic within the sources. And they've added brief, critique, and debate. I really like this deep dive. Let me just show you the beginning of this here. So as I was trying to play this, it was skipping around a little bit, which does happen. You know, it's new technology. But let me just play this beginning part.
Imagine a room, but I don't want you to picture, a typical living room with a TV slapped on the wall.
Okay.
I want you to picture a space so absolutely pitch black that if you turn the lights off and just sit there for an hour, your eyes never adjust.
Wow.
There's simply no light to find. And it's quiet. Not just the kids are asleep quiet, but a kind of silence where the outside world just evaporates.
So you're describing what is, essentially a sensory deprivation tank, but with much better entertainment options.
Exactly. Today, we are unpacking the home theater of Chris Deering. And before anyone rolls their eyes and thinks, great, another rich guy showing off his big TV, just hold on. This is different.
It is.
This isn't a flex. This is a laboratory.
It really is. And the context here is crucial. Chris Deering isn't just some hobbyist who won the lottery. He's a professional reviewer and, maybe more importantly, a former acoustics engineer for the Department of the Navy.
That's the detail that hooked me. When an acoustics engineer builds a room, they aren't looking at marketing brochures or, trying to impress their neighbors with flashy lights.
No, they're looking at wave propagation. They're looking at
A couple other things. One of them is this ability to create an infographic. This is the infographic based on the source, based on the video. It does a great job of walking through each of the major areas, the room, the audio, the video, and then at the very end, the philosophy and future of home theater. Honestly, it may not be perfect, but it's really, really good. Here's an infographic based on that discussion at the end of the video on the paradox of modern home theater. I have the first edition of Floyd Toole's book on sound reproduction, and I put it in here, and then I ask for a deep dive on the Schroeder frequency. I did that. It creates a, let's see, what is this, a 18-minute, almost 20-minute conversation about this, 28-minute conversation about this. I listened to this as I was driving the other day. I can read something and I'll understand it, but if I hear people talking about it, and more than just like reading from the book, but actually discussing it in a fun, informative way, I learn and remember it so much better. This is just a great way of learning new things. Here's another really cool use case. So there's these videos that have these interviews with the guy from Dirac, and this one is an hour 30 minutes long. There's another one where it's 52 minutes, and another where it's an hour 22 minutes. All really good information. Some duplicate questions, but some new ones. There's this 124-page guide that walks through a lot of the stuff that's going on with Dirac. But what if I want to take all of these sources and put it together and ask questions about it? So that's exactly what I did. I put them all into one notebook, and then I said, please tell me the step-by-step guide to running a successful Dirac art measurement and uploading the results. Give me the details on how to not hurt my speakers. So it walks through each phase on like how to prepare, know your F3 points, and it gives me links to each of the sources to where it's talking about that. Microphone, measurement process. It does a really good job at synthesizing and putting all of this in a fairly easy to use step by step. Here's another example. Let's say I wanted to get all the questions and answers that were asked from these 3 videos, but I don't want any duplicates. I just ask exactly that. Please give me all the Q&As from the videos and don't include any duplicates. And it breaks it down into different categories: measurement and microphone technique. How many measurement points should be taken for art? Good rule of thumb is the number of speakers plus 1. And it gives me the citation of where that came from. It did a great job at giving me all the questions that are asked inside these 3 videos. Here's one other thing. Here's this, I asked it to create an infographic based on all these things on the creating a step-by-step. And sure enough, it did a great job. Very cool. And speaking of learning new things, you have the ability when you open up a new notebook, you can just type in a resource or a topic that you want to learn about. So I've typed in the future of self-driving cars, and it has given me 10 potential sources that I might want to use. Each time I do this, I get a different set of resources, but it's a starting point. I can click out to see if I actually like this content and then remove it or not. I can add additional content later. I can then take these materials and create a podcast based on these sources and just listen to it. There's a mobile app that works great that you can use to play these things and do other things with. The web version is actually much more feature rich, but anyway, really cool resource. Hope you enjoy it. Hope this helps. Well, anyway, this is a really cool resource, and I really enjoy using it. Hope you do too.